Uncle Ruckus.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm gonna try this over as quick as possible. He's a central antagonist to the Boondocks, and ironically one of Robert Freeman's close friends. Believes himself to be white, but is actually black and openly racist towards other black people due to a long series of lies told by his mother, such as how he supposed to have been birthed with Michael Jackson's skin condition. That condition was what is called vitiligo. He was also told by his mother he was adopted. In actuality, he wasn't. He was just the family group was a rather toxic biological one. His mother also taught him more about white history and told Ruckus a very skewed and bigoted history of achievements of black people, such as claiming that George Washington Carver was the person responsible for most peanut allergy deaths. Other lies told by his mother were also reinforced due to his physically and mentally abusive father. Sometimes it's seen as protagonist or as a supporting protagonist or anti-hero occasionally. Oh yeah, a little fun fact. His name is actually a reference to a man named Amos Rucker, who's an African American Confederate veterans member who allegedly wanted to stay a slave after the United States Civil War.
Really?
Yes. And he's also I had to put this as a footnote, he's literally a prime example of the result of toxic parenting. I had to put that out there. So let's just discuss over with. Ruckus. Your thoughts, guys? I need to a moment to think of something to say about it without being an asshole about it. Wow, the dead silence says everything. There's nothing we can say about Ruckus at all at this point.
No, all I would say about Uncle Ruckus, I hate him. But let's be honest, all of us hate them. All of us hate that fucker.
I do hate him, but the problem is, what I really hate is his family because of how he raised them.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
especially his mother.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'm not gonna blame. I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna blame being off of him because how his mother raised him to be. Because that made me mad so much about it.
And this points back to a quote a friend of mine said a long time ago: "Racism starts within the home."
Yeah, racism starts with who ever taught them that.
Yeah, it's taught. It starts in the household. It's taught at home.
Yeah, like I said, Ruckus, when he's a kid, I don't say his backstory. I feel bad for Ruckus and his backstory, but during a series, he should not. Even though his mother taught him this, he should not go. When he got older, mature, he should not listen for what she said.
The problem with that, and I have to point this out real quick, is the fact that his mother had this shit intentionally and deeply rooted into his psyche. It got to a point where he could think nothing but that. And the problem was his dad being an abusive asshole did not help matters. If anything, it reinforced everything she said. So Ruckus essentially, in his own way, had it beaten into his skull at a very young age. And the reason why his face is so fucked up, product of abuse, contrary to popular belief. It wasn't from any accident or whatever. It's literally the results of abuse. As much as I despise Ruckus with a fiery passion, I have to point out he is technically an abuse victim, and heavily so. That's why I said when we were watching the episode where Ruckus's family shows up, I had to ask Justin and Zammy especially to go easy on Ruckus this one time because Ruckus's life story was really messed up.
Yeah, sad to say. You think a guy like that who was raised that way would have some reason he was like this, but the reason they gave him for it is just not what I expected. Not what really many people would expect, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, they showed the scene of how he got it.
I'm gonna say this: when Ruckus was a kid, he does not deserve that. He does not. No kid should deserve that.
Nope.
For what he been through, no kid should be taught that kind of way about any race or how they be. They should treat him the right way and be aware, not teach him and be racist to different people.
Don't trust them new niggas over there, leaving they nigga essence in the air.
That's not good. That's not good at all. That's bad parenting, and that's be ashamed. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ruckus, Wayne Gorilla, I despise him, but I look at the backstory. I can't be that mean to him because how he be treated and raised when he's a kid.
Yep.
So I'm
Can't
neutral.
deny. I can't be neutral towards Ruckus. I still dislike him heavily. I still can't stand him for the most part, but I have some sympathy for him for how he basically how he grew up. Because the sad fact, to make it worse, the reason he got such the worst treatment was literally because, and his father actually explained it to a point, because Ruckus was the firstborn of the family between him and his brothers. And because of that, his dad was especially nasty to him because he said it he said these specific words that his life was ruined the moment his wife got pregnant. So in other words, he blamed Ruckus for a lot of his own shortcomings.
If you think about it, Ruckus wasn't really their kid. They found him on the doorstep.
No. The thing was, remember, the found on doorstep thing was his mom's fabrication bullshit. That was purely fabrication by his mother. The fact of the matter is, that's his biological family, including his mother. So yeah, that's why he blamed Ruckus for everything. He blamed Ruckus, and he also blamed his wife. And what sucks is that Ruckus's father was just as bad, only because his mom is a complete bitch. Just ugh. I think you remember like when his mom basically said how her worst mistake was basically giving birth to her son, and of course you said and you fired back saying you should have kept your legs closed, grandma bitch. I mean, I remember you said something along those lines, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anybody want to add anything else?
I still hate Ruckus for certain episodes, especially the Jimmy Rebel episode and the reality TV show episode. I especially hate him for those.
Yeah, I hate that one too.
That and for the shit he pulled in season 4. I couldn't like. Don't get me wrong. Season 3 helped me really like get rid of some of the anger I had towards Ruckus overall, but season 4 made it worse. So
yeah.
So for me, it's 75% heavily despise Ruckus. 20% just just don't like him at all, and the 5% I can tolerate him. That's how much Ruckus legit just irritates me.
Especially the Richard Freeman episode.
The Catcher Freeman episode.
That Catcher Freeman episode, yeah.
Don't remind me. The granddad. Go ahead.
Also, I think the only other thing I hate about Ruckus is his reality TV show bit.
Yeah, I especially hate him for that. I could not let go of that one.
There were Crossy, Hazard, and Zammy can confirm this. And for those who watch the Boondocks series in full, you cannot blame us. We actually skipped some certain episodes.
We skipped the Jim Rebel one because they went way too far with Ruckus's shit on that one, in my opinion. Like, even me who tolerates this shit on the daily, even I hadn't reached my limit on that one.
Yeah.
And I actually reached my limit during that one Riley episode in season 4.
Which one is? The one where Riley basically made a lot of fucked up remarks about gay people and autistic kids.
Oh god, yeah, don't remind me. That is just no. That's why I don't want to watch that episode. That's really just make me ugh.
No, just Riley went too far. Like, I feel like the writers went too far with that one. Don't get me wrong. I know it's satire, but there are just some lines that you gotta be careful about crossing.
Yeah.
No, it kind of pegs the question though. Do the voice actors when the voice actors get this script? Do you think they question the shit they're reading?
I imagine they do, but to be fair, you have to remember that somebody has to greenlight those scripts.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, Aaron Magruder was not involved for most of season 4, so there you go.
Yeah.
And no, he did not leave. He did not leave. Sony kind of removed him from the
What happened was they tried to force him to make more episodes on a more consistent basis. Like, they wanted basically like 3 to 5 episodes per week, which they couldn't reasonably do, given they needed time for animation and such, as well as writing. And of course, they kind of removed him from the project for the most part altogether because of it. Sony essentially took control, and season 4 kind of bombed because of it.
Yeah, and guess what? He gave the Boondocks straight back to him.
At least what I heard.
And so Sony's not going to touch it no more.
No, here's the thing. They were gonna bring back a revival. They were actually gonna make it either a season 5 or a reboot. But then John Witherspoon died, and that pretty much put a huge fucking gouge in that plan. And then Ad Nazareth dying was the icing on the cake. They were already having a hard time replacing Charlie Murphy, who died back in 2017.
And I explained this with you, hun. Either they do a time skip or all that shit, or not do the thing at all.
The problem with that idea is that doing a time skip thing could actually hurt the series potentially worse. But we'll get to that later.
Who wants to give their thoughts about Ruckus?
I gave my thoughts. I can't stand them, but I can sympathize with them a bit. That's it.
Zabby, you want to give your thoughts?
Yeah, any first impressions on Ruckus?
Nope. I'm out. Nope, not Ruckus.
Damn.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Okay.
I guess I have a timer.
Yeah, neither can I. So, moving on, since we've all said our thing about Ruckus, next one on the list, Cindy McPherson. Oh, brother. Hold on. Let me just say this real quick. Let me just say this real quick about Cindy McPherson. She's an occasional recurring character in the Boondocks. She's also Riley's rival in basketball, and also has a surprisingly similar taste and mindset to Riley, strongly hinted to be massively crushing on him. The best description summed up by one of the writers about her was that she was best described as a South Central ghetto girl who happens to be white. And despite the fact she's only been in 4 episodes, she's a very popular character. Though this is possibly due to her ties with Riley. So, thoughts and opinions on Cindy McPherson? Go.
Wait, who?
Cindy McPherson, aka the midget Cammy White. Look at her; she literally looks like Cammy White from Street Fighter.
Given what I know about Zammy's life, she's just a little Zammy spirit animal. She could probably confirm herself.
Yep. I was about to say, she's basically me.
Do you want to see a grown-up ghetto version of Cindy and stuff? Just go to subscribe to Multiverse, and there you go.
Not to mention,
that's the closest you're gonna get.
She was forced to serve in Girl Scouts, for the record. Her mom forced her into it. But yeah, she's basically a straight-up young thug in the making. And again, she works heavily with Riley. So that should tell you a lot about her. Oh, brother. And of course, if I remember correctly, Zammy ships Riley and Cindy.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, honestly, so do a lot of fans. So you wouldn't be alone in that one.
I think me and Zammy gave our thoughts about Cindy, but unless Zammy wants to give first impressions, since she's
she is Zammy 2.0.
She would be Zammy's child.
Oh God.
I'll say this. Cindy is a good character. She is a good character.
I can't argue this. She's got potential. She
has potential. That basketball episode that she did, she talked about a lot of shit.
But she could back it up, though.
Talk all that shit, but when Riley gets some dirt on her, she will cry like a little bitch and ran off the fucking basketball court.
To be fair, Riley caught her off guard with that shit because she obviously did not know how he found out.
Yes. So yeah, and it's funny, like I said, pop me kettle.
Like I said, it's been heavily hinted she has a crush on Riley. In fact, one episode that especially shows this was, what was it? The Return of Gangstalicious Part 2, if I remember correctly. She actually was basically wanting to hang out with Riley, and she got pissed off when Riley blew her off to hang out with Gangstalicious. So there's one instance at least that shows she has a thing for Riley. And then there's another one where she, let's not forget the whole chocolate fundraiser thing, which Zammy pointed out earlier. Cindy had no chill. Even after everyone else abandoned Riley's operation, for the most part, Cindy still stuck by him. So it just goes to show, Cindy is very loyal to her causes. And she also wants to be a thug like Riley. So to some degree, she looks up to him, obviously.
And if you guys can't tell, that Riley and Cindy is heavily shipped.
Pretty much.
like Huey and Jasmine, like Jasmine always would hang around with Huey a lot. Same thing with Cindy and Riley. Cindy wants to hang out with Riley a lot more.
Yeah, she even bought one of his chains just for him. Think about it like this though: Cindy with her connections, Riley with his connections. Those two working together. Think about how much damage those two can cause if they're in about 10 years.
They could probably do a fucking mafia shit if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could. Riley's already ankle deep in it. At least ankle deep in it, if not knee deep in it. But yeah.
Honestly, she's almost like a fucking clone of Riley in a way, the way she acts and talks and all that shit.
Uh-oh, don't get picked by a girl now. I don't think you want that. That ain't pretty. Ooh, in one volume 6 right there. You might want to cop that, bro. Just mad because I'm styling on you.
Yeah, the white girl version of Riley is as one of my friends put a long time ago.
Yeah, so literally just, I got no opinion. Not like I say I don't like her or anything. It's just that, to be honest, she's one of those characters who really puts a unique impact on certain people. Let's just put it out like that.
True, despite only being literally 4 episodes.
But I'm pretty sure Zammy's got a lot to say about her.
Yes, Zammy, let's hear what you have to say about Cindy. I'm actually curious.
She's basically me.
But yeah,
But
just the very thought of her being Zammy's child. Oh God.
She is my child.
Don't touch the child.
It's like I'm just be more afraid. I'd be my child or fucking Zammy's.
That would be
as a father.
hers.
Me as a father, I would teach her the way to be in a fucking street.
I feel like Riley would be more your kid, Riku.
Oh well, yeah, I passed the Justin test.
Oh no. Oh,
yeah, I passed the Justin test for fucking Sydney. Trying to date Sydney.
Yep.
Oh, that Zammy test.
Okay, Crossy, your thoughts, cause we've barely heard shit out of you about Cindy.
Again, she's Zammy 2.0. She's a mini Zammy.
You're not wrong in a number of ways. Like, you're not wrong. Zammy would do a lot of shit she did in the Boondocks for Justin's sake. Let's be fair.
It just shows how much she cares about me.
Pretty much.
Who's the next character we're gonna talk about now?
Okay, Ed Wuncler Sr.
Before we talk about Ed Wuncler, I just want to know, how many characters are we actually going to talk about, though?
After Wuncler, the old man, 3 more, and that's about it. And
okay,
they're all pretty.
I know
there's some that are pretty short.
Okay, because I know there's like a lot of them and stuff, but I just hope we don't plan to include all of them because God, it'll take forever.
Nah, like the only other one I was thinking about adding at first was Stinkmeaner, but he literally is self-explanatory at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey,
just get to talk about that. So if I say
okay, he's an incredible. Okay, I'm just gonna sum it up quickly because I only put like literally 3 sentences about him, like 3 or 4 sentences about him. He's an incredibly really greedy billionaire businessman and criminal mastermind who was voiced by Ed Asner. The racism that he shows in the series is more because of greed than actually any racial motivation. So he's not actually racist. It just looks that way because he's greedy for money. Despite his behavior and questionable as fuck morals, he's actually very good friends with Robert Freeman, regardless. Oh, right. One little tip I forgot to mention. He also, he owns a sweatshop run by Indonesian girls, which Huey revealed and Ed openly confirms. That's questionable at best. But yeah, moving on. He also intentionally traumatized Huey over a kickball game to avoid his own team losing. And ironically recruited Huey for a kickball game to one up his business rival Long Do. That's Old Man Wuncler. And your thoughts on the guy?
Meh. Yes, how?
I'm just gonna say it's about Ed Wuncler Senior. I'm just gonna say this. He's a greedy asshole, but you can't deny that Ed Asner does a damn good job voicing him.
Yeah.
Like if you want an asshole billionaire, you gotta go to that.
What's the voice actor name again?
Ed Asner.
Yeah, Ed Asner.
The guy who voices
Great voice actor.
Cosgrove.
Yeah. Yes. If you want, it's the same dude for Freakazoid. Is to say, cut it out. Like, A and B the asshole is Billy. Come on, that's saying something.
Yep.
I like the voice actor, but the character die in a hole. I don't care.
Well, that just proves how good a voice actor Ed Asner was.
Mm-hmm.
But going off of that for a moment, like going way off of that for a moment, I have to point out, to be fair, and this is heavily implied throughout the series. Technically speaking, Old Man Once technically owns most of Woodcrest, if not all of it. I mean, to the point where he's literally above the law as long as he's within Woodcrest. I mean, shit. I have to point out, to be fair, with if it weren't for his grandson, if it weren't for that, his grandson and his best friend Rummy would have been thrown in jail a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't own that side of fucking Woodcrest, then
He also technically owns the Freeman's house through his bank. Not much more I can say about Old Man Once beyond that. I mean, he only made like literally a handful of appearances overall.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give much of thoughts on Ed either.
All right, so going to the next one, since
before we gotta ask the rest of the cast.
I know I was asking everybody if they had opinions, but Zambi said meh, Crossy said meh.
I mean, like, literally, this dude just put a whole bunch of kids' lives at risk just so you can win a fucking game, dude. Like, what the fuck?
What you say, Justin?
Let's not forget about that one, how he endorsed freaking Robert's cooking and then gets the info of the itis and shit.
Oh, yeah, the itis.
Yeah, that was technically his fault. And the only reason, and part of the reason he did it was because he could buy the state park that was in Woodcrest. And the only reason, and here's the thing, in his own words, he literally said he's been trying to buy the park for years, but the state kept, and I quote, butt fuck him on the price. His words, not mine. So yeah.
As Wessler, get down hole. I don't care about the character.
Well, to be fair, would you rather deal with him or his son?
Give him credit where credit is due. He can really run a successful business, and if it goes under, it wouldn't even bite him a little at all.
Yeah, I would say I give him credit because he run a successful business. He does run a successful business. Not gonna lie, he run a very well done business.
A business is. Remember, he owns most of Woodcrest.
Yeah,
exactly.
It will have like if he did get bankrupt, he will find ways to get the money back.
Yep. Again, money is what drives that man more than anything else. So
he's the type of guy you don't want to play Monopoly against.
No, you do not.
No, that dude will run your pockets.
Mm-hmm. But I think we've proven a point about good old Ed. Who's next?
Ed Wentzel III, his grandson.
Oh, you mean the one he called a dumbass?
Yes. I'm gonna list both him and Jin Rum because they're both easily explained and they're usually seen together most of the time.
So to be fair, the last time I remember Ed Wenslow III by himself was at the party, and when Rami shot him out the window with a shotgun.
Yeah, but that was his first appearance. Rami didn't appear till later.
I know, but I was talking about Ed III.
I know.
I remember by himself.
Let's see.
Isn't Rami voiced by Samuel L. Jackson?
Yes, actually. I'm glad you noticed that.
I mean, why would anyone in their right mind spend 15 minutes trying to type some shit they could have called and said in 5 seconds? Plus, it involves typing with your thumbs, which I just don't approve of. Shit. I don't know about you, but I don't have time to read nothing that a motherfucker type with his thumbs. So basically, nigga technology is anything that doesn't plug into a printer. Does that plug into a printer? No. Know why? Because niggas never have anything to print. Go time, nigga, let's go!
I sent that bitch a smiley face. Bitches love smiley faces.
Y'all niggas are gay.
Yeah, these two clowns, Ed and Rummy, were voiced by Charlie Murphy, who was Ed, and Samuel L. Jackson, who was Rummy. So to make a long story short, Ed's the guy with the red hair and the beanie cap, always wears like a big fat fucking W on his chain. Rummy is the guy with the cornrows and the white bandana. So to make a long story short about Ed and Rummy real quick, Ed and Rami are both ex-soldiers from the military and basically local criminals. Ed and Rami also, believe it or not, they're actually parodies of two particular politicians, George W. Bush and Donald Rumsfeld.
Which one is which?
Ed being the parody of George W. Bush and Rami being the parody of Donald Rumsfeld. No joke. Okay, and Ed is well known for his catchphrase, "The fuck y'all looking at?" A running gag about Ed is that every time he gets shot in a shootout, it's usually in the chest, which is somehow always protected by something that ends up saving his life. So in other words, Ed should have died at least 3 times already.
That little hand sword of yours is kind of neat, but it can't even scratch my ultimate shield.
Likely.
Rami
don't forget that. I'll say, don't forget about his one episode that he got shot out of a goddamn building.
That's what I mentioned.
Yeah, that he did mention that. To be fair. Okay. Also, another thing about Ed and Rami, Rami is as much a psychopath as Ed the Third, but he's more intelligent, choosing the shoot first, ask questions later policy. And in Ed's case, he's also usually well known for basically the fact that he and Rami get away with their criminal antics because Ed's grandfather has the entire police force and damn near the entire city on his payroll, which is what puts him above the law. This was actually shown in season 3, actually. And let's see, in the case of Rami, though, here's the hilarious part. In Rami's case, he actually has more common sense than Ed, though he's not many less stupid at times.
Oh, this is beautiful. It's like we back again. Hey, man, look, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just let my emotions get the best of me.
No, I understand. You're passionate about what you're doing. I just wish you'd be a little more sensitive to my feelings.
It was my fault, man.
No. It was my fault for grabbing the poet triumvirate, whatever her name, Maya.
Y'all niggas are gay.
And also, Rami is extremely critical of modern technology, blaming Ed's obsession with it for criminal failures, despite the fact his own iPhone actually saved him from getting fatally wounded. Oh, and here's another one. Despite Ed and Rami being the most popular characters in the series, Ed the Third's only been in 10 episodes, while Rami's been in only 6.
Really?
Yep. And despite his awful strategical planning, Rami does have a surprising amount of common sense to foresee possible outcomes when planning.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
Yeah. It's hard for me to keep track of every character because the more character, it's hard to keep track of the character. They will come in. They be in it, and they won't be back. They won't be back again to a few episodes later.
Well, to be fair, it's mostly because since I'm not saying just because of season 4, mostly since the series is kind of episodic in a bit, it doesn't really have like a good story. Like, yes, they will continue certain plots, like the whole stink meter thing, which is fine. But what I mean is like how they have like different scenarios going on and different plots is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, understandable.
So literally, you'll know one character, and then they'll just be like, and they'll forget about it. It'll come out during
God,
episode 2. Like, let me give an example. Like Thugnificent, for example. He shows up in a couple of episodes, but they're not really continuous. They're just like scattered a bit for each season.
And let's not forget the fact that technically speaking, I have to point this out for record. Technically speaking, Rami, how do I put this delicately? Like I say, the dude's fucking nuts, but you can't deny that he is good at quoting the shit that Samuel Jackson has said in movies like Pulp Fiction. Hell, they literally made a joke about that.
Thing is, though, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this right now. There are a lot of scenes in Boondocks, whether it be characters or quotes or scenarios that happens in an episode, either actually is a reference from a TV show or a movie, or literally is a real life thing. For example, Fleece Johnson.
Oh God! How can I forget?
He's literally real.
I know. That's what I said. Oh God!
I'm not telling you. I'm telling the audience. For those who don't know, yes, the Booty Warrior is a legit real person.
Yep. Can confirm. Just God damn it, Rami. The fuck is wrong with you? Is what I gotta say about that.
Listen, I would say to Riley's defense, Riley trying to, because in Riley's perspective, he saw they had potential to be how successful that he did right now. Let's make it fair.
Yep.
Riley could pull a heist.
Riley's got the planning skill for it. The problem is Ed and Rummy somehow fuck it up.
Okay. Let me explain. You must have lost your mind. You do not kidnap Oprah.
If Ed and Rummy, those two got some fucking brains and don't fuck it up, he would pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem is he's not wrong, but if anything, when it comes to leading the brains of most operations, it's most likely Rummy, because literally Ed Wessler III is mostly the shoot first, ask questions never type of person.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say one thing too about that as well. Make sure it's not your goddamn father's fucking bank.
Excuse me, but will you be needing anything else from me today, Mr. Wensler, sir?
Now you could go on and take the bags back in.
Thank you, sir. And for what it's worth, I thought you all did very well.
See? An unbiased opinion.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the thing. It was supposed to be his father's bank, remember?
I know it's supposed to be. I'm talking about go to like a different bank that doesn't owned by your father. You know what I mean? Like, remember like the one incident you try to kidnap Oprah and they kidnap another different woman.
Yeah, they kidnapped Maya Angelou. And then they try to kidnap Oprah again, and they kidnapped Bill Cosby. Damn it, Ed and Rummy, you had one job.
Goodbye, would you like some?
Let's be glad that the Boondocks didn't go those highbrow jokes of the Bill Cosby,
To be fair, that happened years before, that incident. So there's that.
I know, but I was just saying, imagine if they did.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Had the revival happened, I imagine they would have. I hate to say it like that, but they would have touched on that. I'm not gonna front. Just good God, man. Okay, Crossy, Zammy, anything you gotta say on Ed and Rummy? Because I'd say more, but I don't know what else I could say.
Zammy, what about your first thoughts and opinions of Ed and Rummy when you first met them?
Psychopaths.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Also, for those who were wondering why we asked Zammy a lot on her first opinions, she's never watched the Boondocks before.
Yeah, fucking psychopaths.
I mean, she's a newcomer.
Yeah, she was a newcomer to the Boondocks series. Go to Horny Joe. She was a newcomer to the Boondocks series, and I'm sure Zammy could talk about her experience with the Boondocks was like for her.
I've only watched snippets and like a few seconds of it when I was growing up with my family, because once again, everybody knows if Justin had $1 for every time I mentioned this person, we would have already been living together. My uncle used to watch the Boondocks a lot, and I'd casually pop into his room and like watch a few seconds before leaving.
So, like, literally most of the games or certain shows and stuff, she would either watch it or not watch it at all because of her uncle. True story.
Okay, that's understandable.
But given after watching the Boondocks now, how do you feel about it? Or would you rather save that for later?
It's nice. It was worth it.
Hey. All right.
So
3 seasons.
Anything else you want to say on Ed and Rummy, or you got just psychopaths is your only thing to say about them?
I'm assuming it's just psychopaths.
Crossy, your thoughts on Ed and Rummy?
Just keep them away from me.
I mean, I can't blame it, especially after that one scene where Ed got pissed because Riley beat him at a video game and he shot the shit out of his PS2.
And then the butler brought in another one.
No, he brought out the same fucking closet. He knows he will break that shit.
No, literally, it's literally a fact that a butler brought in another one or something, because literally the family knows that, especially his father knows that he's gonna get temperamental over shit.
Yeah, especially given how he served in the military and came out apparently more fucked up than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, war changes people.
Not only that, but Ed admitted point blank that for a couple of his missions when he was over serving in Iraq, he pretty much shit himself during one of his missions because he was so terrified.
Can't say I blame him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm talking legitimately shit himself to the point where they actually had him temporarily removed from the battlefield for a while because of it. And again, the whole thing made him fucked up.